Good day, and we are back with more Heretic. We're going to go to Hell's Maw. Now, I never actually played Hell's Maw, as I said in the first... Well, it's not the first episode, but the first episode of this, because I did not have the full version. And joining me this time is Epsiode.
Hey everybody.
Who's going to be here for the entirety of this episode. Now, that means I don't really know where I'm going, what I'm supposed to do, or anything like that.
You mean recording session?
Well, yes. Well, see, here's the thing, though. How this usually goes now is I do recording sessions, but when I say episode, I mean like episode of the game.
Oh, you meant episode of the game, okay.
Yeah, because you gotta remember back in the 90s, a lot of these, you know...
This HUD is non-existent.
It's not non-existent, it's just very, very small.
I know, but why don't you scale it up, or do you just not need it?
Well, I mean, first off, you don't really need it. Second off, I don't like that.
Well, okay, I know, but isn't there a version of it where it's just more zoomed in? Like, can't you up the scale? Because it seems like the reason it's so small is the higher resolution.
It probably is the higher resolution. It's probably an updated version of Xandronum that fixes it, but I don't really care because all I really need to know is what keys I have. And other than that, I can still tell things at a glance, which is really all you need. And as I was mentioning in the very first episode, this was actually my first, well, not this particular episode, but the game itself was my first real introduction to fantasy. And so, Epsiode, what was your introduction to fantasy?
Oh god, I don't even know.
Because, like, for me, I was not a fantasy fan until literally, actually, to be perfectly honest, after I stopped, really liking, Harry Potter and stuff like that. It wasn't actually until you introduced me into Dragon Age Origins that I actually got into, reading it and overall enjoying the overall genre.
I can't honestly say when I started. I mean, I was always kind of just raised, my dad's a huge movie guy. So for my entire life I've been watching, especially older movies, so for my entire life I've been seeing a lot of newer movies, a lot of older movies, and mostly just of fiction genres like sci-fi, fantasy, and just all over the place. So I've kind of just been in that realm my whole life. There's no real starting point for me. I've always been more preferential to sci-fi, but I still can say that I've loved a lot of fantasy, and I still can't point to a time when I was there was never a time where I wasn't a fan of fantasy. I either just didn't think about it, or I just was a fan. And there's no real, point in time that you can say, oh, that's the thing, or that's when I became a fan of fantasy.
For me, of course, it was still, I can really pinpoint that it was Dragon Age Origins that finally made me realize that fantasy was not, as my grandfather put it, and still does to this day, Tooth Fairy and Tinker Bell. It was...
No, definitely not. Dragon Age is anything but that.
Yeah. And then, leading from that, Oblivion, and then on to...
Actually, speaking about Dragon Age, though, I guess we could talk about, what's-its-face? Dragon Age Inquisition. That's not out yet.
No.
This is being recorded May of, early summer 2014, and it's not out yet.
Yeah, I think it's coming out, I think, winter this year.
Yeah, probably. Dragon Age has suffered for a long time.
Well, not really.
Well, no. I'm just saying, in terms of my enjoyment and things like that, I loved the hell out of Dragon Age Origins, and I did a Let's Play on my channel that I never finished, and I will never finish, of where I was trying to do the Ultimate Edition with mods, which is just insane. It was gonna probably end up having been over 100 parts if I really stuck to it. What?
Oh, I'm assuming.
And then Dragon Age 2 came out, and the combat system was better and more fun, and everything else was shit, overall. The story was just very heavily disjointed. It was like 3 possible plot lines had kind of been combined together into one. The first one was super weak. The second one didn't even matter either, and then the third one was, you had to sludge through the game to get to the really overall world-shattering storyline between the wars beginning between the Templars and the Mages. And then Inquisition just... I don't know, man, it's just... it's been so long that I feel like I've left Dragon Age behind almost. Not like I'm, actively not interested, but it's like, this is one of those games that's just been in development and known about for so long. I feel like they revealed it too early, and all the hype is just gone from me.
And also, before we lose it,
are you flying?
Yep. In this game, this was a major thing in this game. I've probably shown it in the first episode, although I don't really remember. But there's a power-up you can get where you can fly, and of course you got to remember in Doom and Wolfenstein and those games, you couldn't even look up and down. So this once again shows you just how far Raven would go in actually advancing the overall art form of gaming. But go on.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like lately that problem's been happening to me a lot in gaming, and I know it sounds kind of snobbish, and I wish it wasn't the case, but I've just been burned out on a lot of games just by getting hyped about them way too early. Watch Dogs, this is being recorded, like, Watch Dogs came out yesterday, and there was a time where I was like, I'm gonna let's play this game day one, I want to play it as soon as it comes out, I want to pre-order it. Now I just don't see the point, and thank God I waited, because apparently the PC version is all screwed up.
Yeah, I've actually had that happen to me too, where a wide variety of games...
Hold on, pause for a second.
And we're back! The text was actually kind of interesting, but it will be kept private. Live in fear.
No one knew you got a text until you just said that,
They heard the text noise!
Oh, okay.
That's right next to the mic!
Well, move it away from the mic, you fuck!
Yeah, but how am I supposed to see it?
Because you hear it. Anyway, what I was trying to say
was
that Watch Dogs, turns out, day one, was pretty poorly optimized on PC. You probably haven't heard anything, because you don't follow gaming news as closely as I do. But
nope, not anymore.
Watch Dogs actually turns out to have been pretty poorly optimized on PC, and even worse for AMD cards, which is exactly what I have.
Okay, you know what? I can't find the bloody key. So we're gonna go give all. I know cheating. Blah blah blah. Give me a break. I played through this. I played through the whole game once. About. Oh God. I just realized something, because like when I fully got into PC gaming, hold on, this is actually kind of important right here. When I fully got into PC gaming, like getting all these classic games and like, modding them and doing all that, that was around 09, right when I started doing videos. I probably haven't played through the whole of Heretic since then, actually. And do you realize how long ago that was? It's fucking horrible. But go on.
What I've been trying to say is that as I've started getting, like, more and more to the point where I don't have the money to just throw into any game I want, and...
Oh, now we're back.
Anyway, General Lotz just interrupted for no reason.
Yeah, because my brain stopped working.
What I was saying was, it seems like in this age, there's no reason to get really hyped about a game. Like, pre-orders are cool, and there's always these little things, but most of the time they just seem like wastes these days. Like, so many of these games come out and need patches. I pre-ordered Rome, I think the last game I pre-ordered was Rome Total War 2. Rome 2 Total War, I don't know why they called it that, it's fucking dumb. But it was a mess on launch. It ran poorly, glitches all over the fucking place, and it just wasn't worth it. And I just can't stay excited for games as long anymore because they get announced so early. You see so much in these trailers, and it's like, what's the point in being excited so much?
Exactly, and gaming in general these days, just as I've said in many of my reviews, I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Games are so generic, very.
I wouldn't say that about everything, but I'd say a big problem is kind of twofold. A lot of the mainstream games, like, there are a lot there, like, they just simply are not as numerous as the indie titles, and
also mainstream games just aren't very interesting.
Well, I'd say some of them definitely are. Like, I was a huge fan of Assassin's Creed, and here I am, I've played maybe an hour that I did on a live stream of Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 3 I never beat. I haven't bought a new Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 3. And all this other stuff. Like, there are series that just come out way too much.
And
then there are series that come out not at all. Like BioWare games, like the new Dragon Age and the new Mass Effect, take forever to come out. and you hear about them for so long. You can't maintain hype for that long. One of the biggest problems I've been facing lately is I actually put $200 into this game Star Citizen, this PC super game that I'm still pretty excited for. I put money into that game almost 2 years ago now, and I doubt it's going to be released in any... there maybe will be an alpha next year. 3 years after release, I don't honestly know if they can make beta 3 years after the Kickstarter. Now that's reasonable because it's basically a AAA game and you're getting into it from the start. But, like, how do people stay hyped for this game every day? Like, they have content every day that is real. Like at least a couple days a week they have some kind of content on their YouTube and everything. But, like, I can't stay hyped for a game I can't even play for that long, for years.
Well, and also, you know, games today just aren't as memorable, and I think that's mainly because, and this will sound stupid, but it's sort of the problem you get with, oh yeah, since I cheated in Give All, I've got this weapon here. I've never actually, well, actually no, I was gonna say I never actually used it, but when I first, you know, played the game, this is a full version weapon, and when I finally got to use it, I thought it was really cool. This is basically the equivalent of the plasma rifle, as you can tell. It's actually probably my favorite weapon, second only to the plasma crossbow. But, you know, it's like, I think there's too many games today, actually. I know that sounds really stupid.
Well, what I was going to say is another problem. Was indie games are really cool. There's a lot of cool little indie games that come out all the time, and that's becoming a problem. It's getting to the point where I feel like there are just too many indie games. It's become such a big thing to clone any idea that is successful, and just so many iterations of the same basic idea. And, like, there is some cool stuff that still exists out there, but indie games are just becoming so prolific. And that's not necessarily bad, but at the same time it just makes you not want to pay attention to any of them because there's so many of them. It's so hard to find the good ones because, like, it kind of... We're kind of just bouncing around, but, like, it kind of speaks to a big problem with Steam lately. Like, Steam's curation has just been shit.
Can't find the bloody keys.
Like, GOG is such an amazing service because they go through their effort to make sure everything works. There's things don't need, like, games work to some degree. They have old and new. And I just love using GOG, and Steam is just such a mess.
Yeah, I will admit Steam is not nearly as good as...
Like, they came out with this... like, people can tag game system, where everyone can make their own tags for games.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, just can't find it. Don't want to spend too much time on each level since we're doing a, you know, major recording here. Oh, well, there's the green key. But go on.
Oh my god. Where they added a system where people could create their own tags for games, and then they systematically started blocking all of the most popular tags. Like, I just read on Twitter from Total Biscuit, earlier today, Steam blocked Uplay as a tag.
Wow.
Uplay, literally just a perfectly utilitarian tag that says, hey, this game uses Uplay, like Watch Dogs, because Watch Dogs came out, and not only does it have all these optimization problems, but also the Uplay servers were fucked up, apparently. So tagging something with Uplay says, hey, this thing uses Uplay in addition to Steam. But no, apparently that's not... Steam doesn't want that to be a tag that people deal with.
Huh. Interesting.
Tagging ones that are really popular jokes, like there was one apparently for Metal Gear Solid Revengeance that was Nano Machine's son.
Yeah.
Some joke that I don't really get, but they just block it. And Steam just lets, like... And then on top of that, all these old games have been getting re-released on Steam lately with no patches or anything, just this completely untouched upload of a game, and people just say, oh, it released in May whatever of 2014, even though it's a 10-year-old game. Steam shows nowhere on its service when the original release date of the game was. And then they let all these derivative copies of games get on for no problem. Steam Greenlight is basically worthless now.
Which is sad, because actually when I was going to try to make a game myself, when it actually go through that.
Like, Greenlight was a kind of cool idea, but now at this point when, literally, if you're a publisher of, like, anything, mobile games, whatever you want, just go to Steam and say, hey, we want this game on there, and they say fine.
That's just sad.
And, like,
And we're back from a short little interlude. I remembered I just died.
Yeah, you did.
And Tim was talking about, you know, getting hyped up for games and staying hyped up for them.
Well, no, I was also talking about how Steam has just changed and become a lot less helpful.
Yeah, I mean, they used to be cool, but then, well, as we all know from previous episodes...
But no! Valve is mentioned Gabe Newell might as well be God!
God Newell? Or if I wanted to be blasphemous, Jesus Newell.
Lord Gaben! I think I've heard the term Gaben before.
Well, that actually does not sound good, but if I say why...
I've always been not very interested in Valve, and...
Well,
I'm not even trying to be a hipster, and I'm sure people go, Tim's saying that. No. I think you can go back through my old videos, even years ago, and see that I'm just not very into Valve. I know, like... Unless you're a neckbeard who grew up loving the fuck out of Half-Life, why are you so into Valve? Like, okay, they made Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead is fun, but it gets fucking old if you don't have it, like, on a console or something. It gets fucking old pretty quick.
Battle of Helm's Deep can only be played so many times.
Like, I barely finished playing Left 4 Dead 1 once on consoles with my friend co-op the entire way. Online, no split screen, nothing. Barely made myself finish the game. Left 4 Dead 2 I only play now because I have a couple of friends who constantly show up with mods and maps and things like that who want me to play. That is kind of keeping things fresh. But on consoles you don't have that shit.
Also, look at this level. Look at how amazing this looks.
Yeah, there's that non-moving blue water.
Hey, it is moving, actually.
No, it isn't.
See, look. Actually, it's more of like an ice kind of thing at this point.
Yeah, it's more like... yeah, it's moving, it's flowing.
But look at the size of the level, though. You wouldn't see something like this in Doom.
Yeah, you did. City.
Yeah, that was Doom 2.
Okay, it's still the same engine.
Well, yeah, but like Raven did it better. I'm kind of a... I'll admit something right now in this particular video. I'm kind of a Raven Software snob versus id Software. I mean, like, I'm a big id Software guy, but I always feel like Raven Software did better.
What was the last thing Raven did?
Raven Software doesn't really exist anymore.
I know, but didn't they do something a couple of years ago? Was it like Singularity or something?
Singularity is pretty much the last thing they've done, and it sucked. Or maybe it didn't.
Did you play it?
I did, and I didn't like it, but then again, that might have been because I was in a depressive period of my life.
But at the same time, it really wasn't that great. It was okay, but they didn't do the time mechanics all that interestingly.
Okay, good, then it wasn't just me.
Like, it was like basically a couple years newer version of the fucking Wolfenstein. Not the New Order, the one before that.
I think they also did Wolfenstein. I don't remember that.
That's possible. They were both generic as fuck.
It's just sad, but then again, it makes sense.
Were you gonna do didn't you say yesterday you were gonna do a Let's Play of that game at some point?
Wolfenstein? I'm gonna review Wolfenstein. Today, I actually got a copy of that game, Turning Point. Found it pretty cheap and gonna send it to my
Not a cheap game.
my new address
Found it
here.
free!
You're not supposed to say that. So yeah, gonna get that done since actually Tiffany, take a look at the review that I just released today. I know this is going up, weeks after this. I mean, not even weeks.
Maybe a week.
A week after.
A week.
But how did was it Pacific Isle or something like that? I can't remember.
How do you forget you literally finished the review today and uploaded it?
Well, whatever. It's a generic title. Is it Pacific Isle?
Let me check. Prehistoric.
Oh, whatever.
I remember the fucking title of your review better than you do.
Hey, I did a lot of work today.
Yeah, there's a reason I also had to finish off the editing.
Oh yeah, because I was using Timpani's computer because I needed a computer with an internet connection. Because hopefully by the time this goes up,
maybe you'll have internet by the time this goes up in a week.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Because I haven't had it, and I needed to be able to download clips off of YouTube and stuff like that. It's actually kind of funny. Is it was rendering. I was like, okay, just delete all these clips off here because we don't need it anymore. And then the render stopped working. I was like, why the hell is the render not working?
Okay, you're slurring your words all over the place. I don't think anyone knows what you're saying. Basically, the story is General Lotz started rendering out the video on my computer, and then right after he started rendering it, he thought, well, that's done and gone. I might as well just delete all the footage I downloaded onto Tim's computer. And then the render wasn't done, and the video just stopped rendering, and then when General Lotz went to open it and try to re-render it, wait a second, it lost 15 files? Where did that come from? Oh, I shouldn't have deleted all those clips I downloaded. So General Lotz had to re-download and re-edit all of the clips.
Yeah.
They downloaded from YouTube and then render it out. And
Yeah.
it just went up on YouTube like an hour ago as of this recording.
So how many views we got?
I don't know.
Why'd you buy a caravan with no wheels?
What?
Why'd you buy a caravan with no wheels?
You know, I made the joke in the Dark Souls 2 Let's Play. You don't have to make the joke.
I know, but I have to, because I realize that whenever I talk, I sometimes...
Yeah, but that's you didn't do it right. Why the fuck would I buy a caravan with no wheels?
Why the fuck would I buy a caravan with no wheels?
For those of you who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, watch the movie Snatched by Guy Ritchie, the guy who made the new Sherlock Holmes. It is absolutely hysterical, and in it, it takes place in England. I don't know when it would be. Maybe the 90s, probably, because they have cell phones, very basic, like super bricks.
Yeah, well, they weren't super bricks, they were just basic bricks. Do you remember the 80s cell phones were even bigger?
Oh,
so.
yeah.
You weren't even born yet.
Shut up. I've seen pictures.
Seen it in the street book.
So in the 90s, it's a 90s film, and it's hilariously funny, and we're making fun of a group. It's actually Brad Pitt, although you probably wouldn't know it looking at him. He's the leader of a group of gypsies, basically. They're called poikies.
I'm pretty sure that that's like a disparaging term, and I bet...
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I bet we're like pissing off all the...
No, that's what they call in the movie. We're not saying that we're not calling them that ourselves. That's what they're called in the movie.
I know, but there's probably some sensitive ones that are on the internet.
Whatever.
Like, how dare you call us pikeys?
Then they're oversensitive and they need to calm down. Anyway, the movie refers to them as poikies, and all the English people call them that, and Brad Pitt is the leader, and listening to them talk is the funniest thing ever.
How dare you make fun of us talk? How dare you make fun of us talk?
In the very beginning of the movie,
It'd be a bad deal in the caravan.
what's his name? Turkish. What's his name again? The guy from Transporter. Jason Statham.
Yeah, Jason Statham.
He's playing a guy named Turkish, and his assistant goes to the gypsies to buy a caravan or an RV.
I think it was just a trailer, though.
An RV trailer kind of
No,
thing.
an RV has to have...
Shut up, you know what I mean? A live-in trailer.
There, I guess.
A caravan. There, now we know what it's called. He sends his assistant, Tommy, to go to the gypsies and buy a caravan from them because the one they're living in is complete shit. And he goes up and he buys the caravan for $10,000, and the second that he pulls out of the gypsy camp, the back wheels fall off, and he's like, well, you bought it. What are you gonna do? I'm not gonna buy it back from you. And he's like, or I'm not gonna take it back. And he's like, well, why don't you buy it back from me? He's like, why the fuck would I want a caravan with no wheels? Oh, the accent is just like, you don't even know how they talk. Like, how are they communicating? They just do all this language. It's just crazy. And they're just all these words all jumbled.
Actually, that reminds me of the Star Trek book. The X-Men meets Star Trek book, actually. Like, they actually wrote all the dialogue for the aliens all together. Yeah, like, in the actual book, it's how they're supposed to talk like, holy shit! That's
like, holy shit.
That's I can't remember what the fuck he's called.
It's tough. Tough son of a bitch!
He's not that tough. He actually is the boss at the end of the first episode. Am I getting hurt by being in there? I can't really tell.
I don't fucking know. I think it's just the flashing red.
And there we go, we found the exit. Those fucking Disciples of Disparal.
Oh yeah, didn't your review say they were like the... Did you knock them into the teleport?
Yeah, I did.
Imagine if you could telefrag them by going through levels. That'd be the best.
That would be pretty awesome.